All right, what's up, guys? I know this video is mad late, but I got to do it. I did one last year, so I'm going to be predicting every single champion by the end of 2026, every single UFC champion. And I also got my picks from 2025, so we're going to see how well I did there, too. So, women's strawweight current champion right now. Who would have thought Mackenzie Dern was going to be the champion, a champion, period, ever? You know? So my 2025 prediction was that Zhang Weili was going to be champion. I would say I get half a point for this one. All right, because Zhang never actually lost at strawweight. She vacated the belt to move up to fight Shevchenko. So I'd say I get some points for that one. You know, but my 2026 prediction, I think Zhang is going to get the belt back. I think they're going to do Dern versus Zhang, maybe around the summertime or something, and Zhang will beat her. And Zhang's already pretty much beat everybody else in this division. But I think she's going to, just get an instant shot against Dern, and it's going to be one fight. Zhang doesn't fight that often, so I think she'll beat Dern and then not fight the rest of the year. That's how I see that going. So flyweight, current champion right now, Valentina Shevchenko. So my 2025 prediction was that Manon Fiorot was gonna be champion. Now hear me out. I don't think this is that bad of a prediction, right? So if you look back at that fight, Shevchenko versus Fiorot, that's a close fight. You could score that fight for Fiorot. I remember one of the rounds being like a swing round. I think it was round 5 or something, like that was the swing round. So if you actually look back at that fight and look and score it, it's a close fight. Shevchenko wins 3 rounds to 2. I'm pretty sure that was the verdict. So yeah, I don't think that was that bad of a prediction. But my 2026 prediction, I'm just done doubting Valentina Shevchenko. I actually picked her to lose her last 4 fights. I picked Zhang against her. I picked Fiorot against her. I picked Grasso against her in the 3rd fight. I picked Grasso against her in the 2nd fight, and that ended up being a draw. But still, the last time I picked her was in the first Grasso fight, and she lost. So I've been thinking her time is up ever since that fight. But I think she needed that fight. Think she needed to lose to get that motivation to come back, because she's been destroying everybody since then, and I don't see anybody else beating her. I think her next contender in this division is going to be the winner of Silva versus Namajunas. Do I think Namajunas deserves a title shot? Not really, but I think Namajunas is a name, so if she beats Silva, they'll just set up, Shevchenko versus Namajunas, because Rose is the former champion. But I think she beats Rose. I think she beats Natalia Silva, because her style lately has been very grappling heavy. She just gets a takedown and then doesn't do much damage. She did that in the Zhang fight. And she's a counter striker. So she's got a very hard style to beat, a championship style, but not the most entertaining fighter nowadays, at least. But yeah, I'm just done doubting her. I think she might retire soon, maybe next year, but I just see her being champion by the end of this year. Women's bantamweight, current champion, Kayla Harrison. Hey, I got my first point here. I predicted that she'd beat Pena, and she did. So my 2026 prediction, now I'm at a little bit of an advantage here since I am making this video so late. I did hear the news that Harrison versus Nunes is off because Harrison got injured. So that, I think, strengthens this prediction even more. I think Harrison's going to beat Nunes, but this fight is going to happen a lot later now, probably around the summertime or something like that. And we might only get one women's bantamweight title fight this year. No matter what, though, I think the winner of that fight will just stay champion the rest of the year, Harrison versus Nunes, and they won't fight again. The women's divisions, for title fights at least, there isn't that much activity ever. So yeah, I think she beats Nunes and then won't fight again for the rest of the year. But anybody else in the division, once she gets through Nunes, I don't see her beating or losing to anybody else. So that's my prediction. Flyweight, current champion. Now you can't convince me that anybody had this pick from 2025. Nobody thought Joshua Van was going to be champion by the end of 2025. Maybe people picked him against Pantoja, sure, in their fight. A lot of people did, but nobody could say at the start of the year that this guy was going to be champion. So crazy. So my 2025 prediction was Kai Kara France. Now, at the time, I didn't think this was that bad of a prediction. We did see that title fight, actually, Pantoja versus Kai Kara France, but he got absolutely dominated. I actually picked him still in that fight, and he got dominated. This pick is so bad that this guy's not even in the rankings anymore. This guy is like basically retired from the sport. He's gone. That's how bad this pick was. 2026 though, I think Manel Kape, he slimed out Roy Val in the first round. Incredibly impressive performance. This guy's something special, dude. I think he beats Van. I think the only other dark horse of this division that could challenge for this being champion by the end of 2026 is Tetsuro Taira. Honestly, I think Pantoja, after an injury like that, and he's on near the end of his career, I don't see him being champion again. It could happen, but I don't see it. And I think Kape has the best chance against all these guys, against Van, against Taira, against Pantoja. So, yeah, that's my pick. Bantamweight, current champion, Petr Yan. Insane performance against Merab. Insane. But my 2025 prediction actually wasn't Merab, it was Umar. So this was after Merab versus Umar was announced. I picked Umar in that fight, and then after that fight happened, this pick was pretty much cooked for the rest of the year because Umar was not going to be champion again, by the end of 2025. There was just no possible way. Excuse me. So, yeah, but my 2026 prediction is actually that Yan will stay champion. I don't see Yan, honestly, losing to anybody. I mean, if they set up... So his next fight, if it's not Merab, it's going to be the winner of Umar Figi or the winner of O'Malley Yadong, and I think O'Malley's going to win that, and I think Umar's going to win that. So I think it'll be his next fight will probably be O'Malley or Umar, leaning towards O'Malley just because UFC loves O'Malley. But honestly, I think he beats O'Malley. I think it's O'Malley's got a KO chance, but I think he beats him again. Let's not act like O'Malley won that first fight. And I think he beats Umar easier than he beats O'Malley. And I think he beats Merab again if they fought. But still, those are the only three I could see maybe, challenging for this. But yeah, the rest. Maybe Peyton Talbot, but Peyton Talbot's still kind of lower in the rankings, so he probably won't get a title shot this year, maybe 2027. Featherweight, current champion, Alexander Volkanovski. So my 2025 prediction was actually Diego Lopez. So I predicted in my past video that I thought Ilya was going to vacate the featherweight belt and move up to lightweight. And I was correct. I was not correct in picking Lopez, but I mean, him and Volk fought. There was only one featherweight title fight. Him and Volk fought, and Volk won. It wasn't complete domination, so I don't think this was that bad of a pick. But anyways, my 2026 prediction, Gene Silva. This might be one of my more out there picks, but so we've got Volkanovski versus Lopez 2 happening. I think the winner of that fight, no matter what, you could argue Silva could come back and fight either of them. For Volk, it's a fresh matchup. For Lopez, they have fought before, and Silva wasn't actually doing that bad in the fight before he got knocked out. Silva's fighting Arnold Allen, this weekend. I think he beats Arnold Allen, and he might get one more win, and then he'll fight for the belt by the end of the year. I think the UFC is going to try to keep Movsar Evloev away from the belt because he's not an active fighter, doesn't have the most exciting style. So he might not even fight for the title this year. And then Lerone Murphy, I just don't think he's a skilled fighter. I just don't think he's good enough to beat some of these top dogs like Volk and Lopez and Evloev, and I think Silva would beat him too. So yeah, this is my prediction. Kind of a crazy one, being that he just lost his last fight, and he's only ranked number 10. But the UFC loves this guy. They're giving him a shot against ranked number 6 Arnold Allen. It's so crazy. They love this guy. They love his style. They love his personality. So they're going to try to push for him to get a title shot, I think. At the UFC, I think it now is pushing more for entertainment instead of who actually deserves the belt and deserves the shot. It's, prime example, number 1, Lopez getting another title shot against Volk after we literally just saw that fight. Anyways, moving on. Lightweight current champion, Ilya. My 2025 prediction. Now, I think I get half a point for this one too because Islam never actually lost the lightweight belt. He vacated and moved up to welterweight. So my 2026 prediction is that Ilya is gonna be champion still. So we got Gaethje versus Patty happening this weekend. And I think he destroys either one of them, honestly. Like, I don't really even care to see that fight, but he said he wants to come back around April or May, and I think he destroys either one of them, and I think he knows it. But I mean, that's an interim title fight. The interim champion has to fight the champion, unless you're John Jones. But anyways, yeah, I think the only person other than Islam, which I don't think Islam's going to come back down to lightweight, the only other person that could give him a challenge in this weight class is Arman. But the UFC and Arman don't have the best relationship. That the fact that Gaethje versus Patty got set up as an interim title fight tells you all you need to know about how the UFC sees Arman. And yeah, maybe Max Holloway could give him a tough fight again at lightweight, and they had a good first fight, so we could see that again. But yeah, and hopefully he just doesn't move up to welterweight to chase Islam. And stays at lightweight. Maybe we see this guy twice this year, hopefully. But yeah, I think he beats anybody in this weight class. Welterweight, current champion. So, Islam. So, my 2025 prediction. Bro was not cooking with this one. I really thought I was up to something with this one. You'll hear me in the video. I was like, hear me out, bro. Ain't nobody hearing you out. This is the worst prediction. I actually picked Joaquin Buckley in 2025. Yeah, bro got dominated by Usman, let's be honest. And he keeps calling for shots against guys ranked way higher than him, even though he doesn't deserve it at all for some reason. Okay. But anyways, my 2026 prediction, I just don't see anybody beating Islam. I think if anybody is going to beat Islam, it's going to be a striker that's got amazing takedown defense. So maybe an Ian Gary, maybe a Michael Morales. Shavkat could, but Shavkat doesn't really fight, so I don't see him even fighting for the belt this year, honestly. I think he needs one more fight, and good luck getting him in there twice in a year. But yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody else beating Islam. And if Ilya does come up to this weight class to chase him, I think maybe it's a close fight, yeah, but Islam's just too big and strong, and I think he'd beat Ilya. I don't see this guy losing. Middleweight, current champion, Hamza Chimaev. So my 2025 prediction, I got this one right. Even though I actually picked Dricus in their fight, and Duplessis versus Chimaev, I actually picked Dricus like the night of the fight. I'm like, oh, Dricus is gonna beat him. Bro got dominated, but still, I mean, at the start of the year, I'm like, Chimaev was the safe pick, and probably was a safe pick in that Dricus fight too. But I just thought Dricus would do better. But I think he's the safe pick again. I don't see anybody else beating him in this weight class. I think the next guy up, who it should be, is Nasruddin Imavov. But the UFC likes to give undeserved title shots, so they might give, Sean Strickland a shot. If Sean Strickland gets past Hernandez, they might do something like that. Which, I mean, I like Strickland, but that's not really what I want to see. I want to see people who deserve the shot get the shot, like a Nasruddin Imavov who's on a crazy streak right now. What I think might happen, and I think this is the safe pick, but what could happen is Hamzat's been talking about moving up to light heavyweight, so I think he might fight one more time at this weight class and then vacate the belt, and they do a vacant middleweight belt, and then whoever wins that's the champion, and this guy has moved up to light heavyweight, so that could happen, but I'm still going to stick with this. This guy only fights once a year anyways, so we'll see. So light heavyweight, current champion Alex Pereira. My 2025 prediction, I got this one right too. Alex Pereira. It's actually crazy. I picked Pereira in the first Ankalaev fight and he lost, and then I picked Ankalaev in the second Pereira fight and Ankalaev lost. So the prediction at the start of the year was right, but in the second Ankalaev fight I picked Ankalaev. I was wrong, but it all ended up working out. Pereira's champ again. The universe, all good, and the universe has been restored. So my 2026 prediction, I think Pereira is going to move up to heavyweight. I don't think anybody beats Prochazka at this weight class other than Pereira. So I think Prochazka is going to win a vacant title. Pereira might fight one more time at this weight class. He might fight like a Carlos Ulberg or something. But honestly, I don't see Yuri losing anybody. I think the toughest test for Yuri would be an Ankalaev, but I think Yuri's so unorthodox. And so aggressive. We saw in the second Pereira fight when Ankalaev gets actually pressured and backed up against the fence, he doesn't do very well. And that's what Prochazka I think would do to him as well. So yes, Yuri is my pick. This might be another out there pick too, but I see Yuri beating Pereira if they have a trilogy fight? No, I don't. But I think Pereira is going to move up to heavyweight. So heavyweight current champion, Tom Aspinall. That was my 2025 prediction. Yeah, but you know how the Gane fight went with the no contest, but this guy's still the champion. So, but my 2026 prediction, like I said previously, I think Pereira is going to move up to heavyweight. And Aspinall does not have the best relationship with the UFC right now. We don't even know when this guy's going to come back. So they might set up like an interim title fight or something with Pereira and Gane. I've seen talks about that. So we might see something like that. And I think the only guys that are really going to challenge Pereira at this weight class are Aspinall, Gane, and, a Volkov. I think he beats anybody else. There's a lot of not very talented heavyweight fighters. There's only a handful of them that are actually good. So I like Pereira's chances in beating an Aspinall, beating a Gane, beating a Volkov, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Aspinall versus Gane too. And I think Aspinall would win that. But I like Pereira's chances in beating any of those three guys. So yeah, those are my predictions. We'll see how well I do in the video next year. I think I did pretty well last year. I mean, what did I get right? I got this one right. I got this one right. So that's 3 points. Okay. That's like half a point, so I'm at what, 3.5? Wait. Yeah, I'm at like 3.5. That was bad. That was also bad. Okay, 4.5. Okay, that's bad. That's another half a point because she didn't actually lose at this weight class. So I got like 5 points last year. So let's hope to beat that next year. All right, guys. Till next year. Goodbye.